Hi everybody, I'm sorry this is taking so long to get the final video up. I was having technical difficulties with trying to make it under 15 minutes so YouTube would accept it. But this is the inside of my lid, and this is part of the paper collection. It was the die cuts in the back that I punched out. I used some sand and pearls, and I did the metal technique on the flower and just used the stickles on the inside for the center of the flower. Okay, and I'm going to show you, before I show you the mini, I'm going to show you the inside. On the inside of this tin, what I did is I lined the bottom with velvet, and I just trimmed it with some like coppery orange colored ribbon. That way it had like it didn't the album won't slide around on the inside. It kind of stays put. Okay, so now here is the album. Okay, this is the cover. I used the gears from that clock that I took apart, and this is the clock face cover and the glass, and I put one of the images, die cut images from the paper collection behind it. This part right here, the debutante, is from the cover of the paper pad to the graphic 45. The paper clip, these are the spiral paper clips that I just kind of bent out, and it looks really cool, I think. And then of course the flowers, I used the Moon Shadow Mist Burnt Umber and my homemade turquoise glimmer mist to color the flowers, and I glossy accented the butterflies. Okay, so, oh, and to bind the album, this is 3 pieces of chipboard. I got a front and a back cover and the spine, and I put it together, believe it or not, with the Cricut vinyl because it needed to be flexible and move. So, and it's working out really well. And then I bound the pages with some leather cording. You can see it right here, and I just kind of added some fibers to shoosh it up a bit. Okay, so my first page is a toilet paper tube, and I left the outside of this blank on purpose because I wanted room. There's not a lot of room for photos, and I figured I better leave as much as I can blank to put photos, so I left that blank. And let me get the tag out here. So this is my first tag, and it's from the paper collection. I just cut it out of the paper, and I stapled a little piece of lace on there. And there's the back, and I figured you could put a photo on the back, leave the front plain. And then I have this tag that I did. This is a metal accent, and it was already like embossed. I cannot remember. I want to say it's Making Memories, but I'm not sure. It's really old and I never used it, and I finally used it. I cut this out of the paper collection, and I glossy accented the clock faces on there. And of course one of the stamps from the collection. And the back of it, I just have the trim on the bottom, and of course my fibers. And then this is another tag that, like I said, real plain, so you can put a photo. Just stapled a little piece of ribbon at the top. You can put journaling on the back. Okay, so this is my next page. One of the die cuts from the paper collection, a Dodge ticket, one of the Tim Holtz swirls. I glossy accented the butterfly and Prima flowers on this. There. And I left the back of the tags plain for pictures. Okay, and then here's my next pocket. Let me pull the tags out. This tag is one of the die cuts from the paper collection, a little black piece of ribbon, and I did punch all of the tags with the Martha Stewart punch, and I don't remember the name of, I think it's like a lattice or something like that, and I put Say It in Pearls on here. In the back I just have a flower and the ribbon, and this tag I cut from the paper collection, added one of the die cuts. The key I used, I painted it black and then used the brass, antique brass distress crackle paint on there, and then went over it with a little bit of the copper. And then, of course, I stapled a little piece of ribbon in the back. I figured that could be for journaling. I just got to separate out my tags so I remember which one they are. Okay, so then this is my next page. My next page, another Adage ticket. I cut this out of the paper collection and I glossy accented the roses on her hat, the roses on the bottom of her shirt, the clock face on her necklace, her lips and her earrings, and I crackle accented the rest of it with the Rock Candy Distress Crackle Paint. Another gear from the clock that I took apart, and there's another one of those swirled paper clips, and this is one of those felt border things that I got from Queen & Company, and I just sprayed it with a Black Magic Glimmer Mist, just to make it, because it was bright red and I wanted to darken it up a bit. And then the flower I smushed after I glimmer misted it with the turquoise and copper homemade glimmer mist. And again, another blank page. Like I said, all the tags have blank backs. I did use my Moon Shadow Mist and the copper homemade glimmer mist on the backs of the tags. And there's another pocket. I'll put the album down. Okay, so here's my next tag. As you can see, there's a lattice border, Say It in Pearls. I just kind of ripped some of the paper from the paper collection, added one of the die cuts, and some fibers. And the back is plain, I figured, for journaling. And then this is cut from the paper collection. I used all of these have I used a copper glimmer mist that I made on there. And I figured good for photos. Okay, so this is my next tag page, and let me get into camera here so you can see the whole thing. Let me back it up. There we go. I cut this out of the paper collection and glossy accented it. I have a copper spiral paper clip that I bent. This is part of the cover to the paper collection, the paper pad. I cut the little crow out of the paper. Another die cut from the paper collection. Another gear from that clock I took apart. And then over here, a metallic, the faux metal flower that I did in copper with a smoky black bling. Okay, so another blank page. And my next tag. Now this tag I left kind of plain. As you can see on the bottom, I didn't do too much to it because I figured it'd be a good spot to put a photo or some journaling. The clock face was a stamp. It was a Heidi Swap stamp, and I stamped it, and I painted the edge with copper paint, and I put a copper accent in the middle, kind of to, I don't know, zhuzh it up a bit, I guess. The wings were made the same way I made the handle. I used aluminum foil, and I glossy accented it. So you can see it's like real shiny. And then on the back, this is part of the paper collection. I just added it to the back. And this is one of the die cuts from the paper collection, and I just stapled a little piece of ribbon at the top for the pull. On the back. Okay, this is my next page, and this is, I just ripped the paper and glued it down. This key was actually like a brass color, and I painted it with copper paint, so it would match. I have some Sand & Pearls and a Tim Holtz Keyhole, and if you look in the middle, I don't know if I can get the camera to focus, but if you look in the center of the Keyhole, I took one of the stamps and glued it down there, and you can see the lady's face, so it's like you're peering in through the peephole, or keyhole, I should say. Okay, another blank for pictures, another spot for pictures, and some more tags. And these are from the paper collection. I just tore out the rose paper and just glued it down, and then put these on top, and some little flowers with the bling centers and fibers, and a little strip of the paper. And on the back I have it plain for journaling or a picture, and then another tag I cut out of the paper collection, and I did use the homemade copper glimmer mist that I make on it. Same with this side. And as you can see, I just stapled a ribbon on. Real simple tags. Okay, so this is my last tag page. And this one, this is a rub-on here. The crown on the bird is a rub-on, and the clock is a rub-on. And I used the clock hand from the clock I took apart, and a little screw, or nut. Yeah, that'd be a nut. And glued it on there. The flowers are from Wild Orchid Crafts. Same with the leaves, and all I did was I twisted the little closed roses and the bigger roses with the leaves all together, and just kind of made like a vine. I painted them with the copper paint, the roses, and for the leaves, to get that sparkly, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Okay, to get that sparkly, I used the Lindy Stamp Gang Starburst spray in Ponderosa Pine Olive. And I love this color for your flowers because it's like perfect for the leaves and stuff. This is a Tim Holtz bird from the birdcage die, and another piece of the paper collection. Okay, now this is my last pocket. And this one I used the the stamps for the pull on it. These were the Sand & Pearls, and they were burgundy, and I painted them black. So you can see a little bit of the burgundy showing through, and it looks like real vintagey. And this image was part of the paper collection. The back is just plain with the flower and the ribbon at the bottom. Okay. And this is a die cut from the paper collection, and I used the homemade copper glimmer mist on both these tags. On this one too. This was also part of the paper collection. Okay, and then the last page is the stamp paper, and I left the back of the cover just plain because I put so much on the front. I didn't want to make it any thicker so it'll fit in my tin, so I just left it plain, and I think it looks like an old book, especially with that black binding on it. It reminds me of those old books that you find, those old leather books. So that is it. That is my project. If you guys want me to do any tutorials on anything I did, just let me know. I'll be glad to do them. And I hope you guys have a great week. And thank you for sticking around through my big long series for my little project here. I've never done like 3 videos. I've only done 2, but there's the finished product again. Hope you guys have a great week. Bye.